Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Truth. I am your host, the one who left the most, Niall Heston, back with a brand new episode here on The Truth. Back once again with Lucas Ponciano. Wow. Lucas Heston and AJ Ponciano. Gentlemen, this is our second show of the day, so I'm not even going to ask how you guys are doing, because if you guys really are not doing well after 20 minutes, then I might need to check in on both of you individually. But we are here with the final episode of this six-part series where we went over each division in Major League Baseball. Today, we are going to do, last but not least, the AL East Division, home of the AL champions from last year, the New York Yankees. It should be a fun and exciting show. Today, they're going to give you guys two prospects to watch out for either the upcoming year or future years down the line. So, without further ado, AJ, go ahead and kick things away with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Orioles Martinez. He made his debut last year for one game, went 1 for 3 in that game, had a strikeout, and then right afterwards was popped for like PEDs, which ended up just being like medicine he was taking that like had something in it that got him popped for PEDs, and basically he was suspended for the rest of the year because he was a midseason call-up, which was really unfortunate because he started so things started really clicking for him in the minors a little bit more. Brought his batting average up almost 20 points, spending the entire year at AAA. Before the call up, hitting 267 with a 346 on base, had an 869 OPS, which is great. Only played in 74 games because, like I said, he got called up mid-year and then got popped for PEDs. So essentially just ended the season right there. But 17 home runs, one triple, 19 doubles, 27 walks to 76 strikeouts, which isn't great, but if you look at his other minor league years, it's actually not that bad. He's a big strikeout power guy. Not a lot of speed on the base paths either. But this is a guy that I expect to break camp. I mean, he made his debut and got popped for PEDs for a stupid reason. It was legitimately like came out like a report happened that it was the medicine that he was taking that was prescribed in that had something in it that took him out for the season. But he's a guy that I wouldn't be surprised as a rookie next year has 25, maybe even 30 home runs. He has that type of power, but he's only going to hit like 235, 240. So there is that difference there. And then the guy for the future, I'm going to go with their 19-year-old prospect, Arjun Nimala. Uh, Really good frame, good power. He's kind of like Martinez in a way where he grades out really good with the power, but not as good as the hit. But he does show a little bit better defense and better speed. Last year hit 232 with a 325 on base, but 17 home runs, three triples, 20 doubles, 9 stolen bases, 39 strikeouts to 120 K, or sorry, 39 walks to 120 Ks within 90 games. I mean, that sounds pretty much like Elvis Martinez's early on days also. Did make his start of the season in rookie ball and got up to single A last year. Spent most of the time in single A, played 82 of those games where he had 16 of those 17 home runs there. So I mean, he was able to show that when he progressed up a level, that he was still going to hit what low to mid 200s there, have a good amount of home runs, not hit that well, but for the average or on base because he's going to strike out a lot, but did show off some speed with 9 stolen bases. So if he's able to kind of pick up what Martinez wasn't able to and picking up like a little bit more average and close to like the 260 mark, this is a guy I see flying through the minor league system.
Lucas, your Blue Jays.
Yeah, first guy I got is Ricky Tiedemann. He's a 2021 third round pick, I should say. So he's kind of been around a while, but before I say anything, the big issue with him is injuries. Even this coming year, he's not going to be a threat because he's probably missing the entire year with Tommy John surgery. Even this year, he only pitched in 8 games, but 0-1 with a 5.19 ERA, 17 innings, 27 strikeouts. Only has 41 career games in 3 minor league seasons, which is a little bit concerning, especially as a lefty. 226 strikeouts. So again, he definitely has the stuff. He was in the Arizona Fall League a year or two ago, did pretty well, but he's someone that really just needs to figure out how to get healthy and just got to see if he's the same guy after Tommy John surgery. Next guy I did is Charles McAdoo. I don't know, just a great name. He was 2023 13th round pick, so he was pretty much a nobody, kind of at the time when he was picked, as well as obviously going into the draft. I remember like when he was first drafted as like a Twins minor league fan, looking through all the box scores, he was just lighting up the Twins Fort Myers team. So I kind of just like, okay, this is the guy to look out for. I mean, his first year he hit 300, but only in 28 games. But this year he really took off. I mean, 279 average, 27 doubles, 17 home runs, 78 RBIs, 21 stolen bases, 843 OPS. And this is a guy who, again, is a 13th round pick. 2020, he wouldn't have even been drafted if the draft happened twice. I mean, he's a late round guy who's really developed well. He's even a non-roster invite. So, and the fact that he's a third baseman and outfielder really gives him positional flexibility. So I think that I want to see how he does in spring training. He's not going to get that many at bats probably because he's a non-roster invite, but I think he's definitely a name to look out for. And especially with Tiedemann being down, maybe he can jump him and make his debut sooner.
Okay, AJ, the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, so the Rays, I'm going to go with Trey Morgan. Last year went from A ball all the way to double A, hit 234 with a 408 on base. In 100 games, had 10 home runs, 3 triples, 23 doubles, 20 stolen bases. Again, sucker for the walkout to strikeout ratio, and we saw this a lot when he was at Vandy. 48 walks and 48 strikeouts, exactly even there. Even when he first got drafted in 2023 in the 14-game stint in rookie ball and A ball, he hit almost 400, hit 396 with a 482 on base. I mean, his career OPS is a 906, which is amazing, with a slugging at 489, which is also great there. I mean, he has 114 career minor league games and has 40 extra base hits within that time, 24 stolen bases, has more walks than strikeouts, 56 walks to 51 strikeouts, good amount of RBIs. First base, outfielder, just super athletic. He's 22 years old. I mean, this is a guy that, I mean, the Rays are weird with how they treat their prospects and who they call up, but this is a guy that towards the end of the season, if he's still playing exactly like he has been, that should make his debut this next year. And then a guy for the future, international signing, I want to say from 2023, from 2023, Blair Guerrero. Last year in rookie ball, hit 330 with a 452 on base, 2 home runs, 2 triples, 4 doubles, 18 RBIs, 22 walks to 32 strikeouts, 13 stolen bases. So far in rookie ball, the past 2 seasons, has only played 35 games, hitting 317. Again, still only 2 home runs, 2 triples, but 7 doubles, 13 bags, good amount of walks to strikeouts. Has a really good frame to him for being only 18 years old, 6'1", 215. He grades out really well. I mean, really good arm, really good power, really good hit tool. Not best defensively, but that's also what we don't really care about. That he's an outfielder. It's just stick him at a corner spot, and he should rake going into the future. I mean, has one of the highest signing the Rays have ever given out, 3.7 million, which is one of I believe he's the 12th ranked international signing that year. So yeah, I mean, he has the frame, he has the build for everything. It just can he put it all together?
Lucas, your Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, first guy I have is Xavier Isaac, first baseman, 2022 first round pick. I'm similar to the person AJ mentioned. I mean, he got $3 million as a signing bonus, a little different because he was drafted, but still high expectations. I mean, he hit 264, 18 home runs, 78 RBIs, 15 stolen bases, 850 OPS. A little bit of a concern for me is the strikeout to walk ratio. I mean, he walked 58 times, which is not bad, but he struck out 145 times, which is just that's crazy. In 102 games. Like if you're playing a full season, like 150 games, you're approaching like 200 strikeout territory, and that's like Miguel Sano territory. You don't really want to be there unless you're hitting like 35 bombs a year, which he's definitely hitting home runs and producing in terms of run scoring. But I think this is a year that he has to kind of maybe turn those strikeout numbers around and maybe not necessarily go away from his game, but try and find more of like the hits and have better plate discipline. I mean, only 750 career at bats, which seems like a lot, and it is. But I think at the high minors this year, he's definitely going to need to show that he can limit the strikeouts. Second guy, Gary Gilhill, another just nice name, 2022 sixth round pick. So definitely was like he was somewhat known going into the draft, but not like the super highly acclaimed guy. 22 games, 4-4 with a 3.15 ERA, 108.2 innings pitched, 105 strikeouts, kind of similar numbers to Adam Major, also a little over 1 WHIP. He hasn't really made like immense like numbers at like the high AAA, AA levels. So I think it's definitely going to be a year to see if he can carry over what he's been doing in terms of limiting runs. Strikeout numbers don't pop out, so it's going to be something he's going to have to figure out in AAA to see if he can really make that step to the majors, because it's fine if you can have not a high strikeout number, but if you can get outs, it's great. But the question is, can you get outs? Can you limit hard hits and things like that? So I think he's definitely going to be someone who's going to have a year that's going to really define him this year.
AJ, the Red Sox.
Yeah, I gotta go with Christian Campbell. I mean, they're top three guys. You could really choose any of them and not be wrong to making their debuts this next year. But Christian Campbell, I would say, came out of nowhere. Really underrated, under the radar. Went from A plus ball all the way up to Triple A, and I believe he won minor league player of the year. Hit 330 with a 439 on base. Had almost 1,000 OPS with a 997 OPS. 20 home runs, 3 triples, 32 doubles, 24 stolen bases. 74 walks, 103 strikeouts, 77 RBIs, 94 runs. It was just great. Even in 2023, year after he got drafted, did really well. I think a lot of people were surprised, and I was a little bit surprised with the progress, because when he was at Georgia Tech, this is what he did there. But the same type of numbers, obviously, in the lesser games, but showed that same type of sample size. Just didn't know if he was going to be able to like move over to like minor league system, go to the wood bat, and be able to produce like how he did there, and he was able to. And I think that's why he kind of came out of nowhere. But his position, the positions he'll play, middle infield, anywhere in the outfield, just kind of gives him the best chance to make his debut this year and potentially break camp with them for the Red Sox. And then I'm gonna go with Yolan Cespedes for the next guy for the future. He's a shortstop, made up to single A last year as a 19-year-old. Good power. I mean, he just grades out really well overall. He had everything is out of 50 grade except for hit at 55. Last year hit 319, 400 on base, 5 home runs, 1 triple, 10 doubles, 3 stolen bags, 12 walks, 19 strikeouts, 24 RBIs. Just has a really good frame to him. Uh, for being a middle infielder. I think grades out more as a second baseman, 5'8", 181 pounds. So a more stocky guy, but really powerful. And he also, you heard the last name Cespedes, he is the half brother of Yoenis Cespedes, which I thought was pretty interesting. I mean, he probably trained with him at some point throughout the off season. So like I said, he probably grades out more of a second baseman, but 19 years old, single A, was able to put a lot of things together. And he was a good international signing back in 2023 for them.
Lucas, your Red Sox.
Yeah, first guy I have is Marcelo Meyer. He was, I think, the 4th overall pick, 2021, so he's been around for a little while. He had a little bit of an injury-shortened season, only 80 games this year. He had 307 with 28 doubles, 8 home runs, 38 RBIs, 13 stolen bases, and an 850 OPS. So you see right there that he's not going to really be an insane home runs hitter, more of a doubles hitter, which isn't necessarily terrible. And I think like in Fenway Park, if he can really pull the ball, he'll definitely get more home runs and a lot of doubles off the monster. I mean, 1,100 career at-bats with 37 home runs, 162 RBIs, and 46 steals. Still above 800 OPS, which is really good. So I think that the expectations have definitely been met so far. The question is, can he produce over like 100 games? Like he played 77, which isn't bad. But the question is, can he still hit over 300? And I think that as a shortstop, there's definitely going to be room for him as a middle infielder. The second guy, AJ talked about him, Yoel Cespedes. Not really much else I have to say. I mean, only 19 years old, 5'8", 180, so he's a small guy. And again, didn't get a lot of at-bats like AJ mentioned, but I think he's definitely got to watch in the future. Just has great numbers so far. Again, similar to Meyer, but even more extensively is he's so young. Is he done developing? Can he sustain this over 95 games? It's all just questions with the guy so young.
AJ, the Orioles.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Kobe Mayo. Made his debut last year, played 17 games, did not hit well, 14 for 41 with a .098 batting average, with 22 strikeouts in that time. But absolutely raked in 2023 in the minor leagues, basically entirely in the AAA. Spent 4 games A+ ball before he was assigned to AAA. But 25 home runs, 3 triples, 26 doubles, 73 RBI, 65 runs, 4 stolen bags. So showed off a little bit of speed, but not going to be someone who's going to be like Gunnar Harrison, hit a lot of home runs and draw off and get on stolen bases. But pretty good defender overall. Just had that struggle being called up this year, mid-year. I think my favorite part is, yes, he does have the power. He does show off the power. Not a lot of speed, but he's graded out of 45 hit tool, which is kind of insane when in the past 2 years he's hit over 290 and the 283 career has 283 career batting average in the minor leagues. So I'm surprised that isn't higher. This is a guy where it's hard to say where he's going to stick, just because like you have Jordan Westberg. Like, is he going to move over to second base? Are you going to move Kobe Mayo over to second base or first base potentially? Because he's only played third and first throughout his minor league career. So he's someone that I think should fit in there with the Orioles and should at least have a roster spot going into this year. But it's just where he's going to fit in. I think first base is probably the most likely spot for him, depending on if they want to move on from like Ryan Mountcastle or someone like that. And guy for the future, I gotta go with Samuel Basallo. Already 20 years old, all the way up to AAA already. He probably ends up being more of a first baseman for this team. I know I just talked about Kobe Mayo being a first baseman, but Basallo, I wouldn't be surprised not this year, or if next year he makes his debut. I mean, he was the number one catching prospect for them, but also for the entire minor leagues. Hit 278, 19 home runs, 25 doubles, 10 stolen bags at Double A and Triple A this past year as a catcher. It's just been really good. The only thing I would say is defense overall, and also Adley Rutschman being there. If that's going to be what slows him down, like I said, already 20 years old in AAA, lefty bat. Uh, Projects more as a first baseman. Like I said, though, Adley's such a good defender, and Basallo is really just there for his bat. Defensively, not much upside. Good arm, but not the best of framers, not the best blockers out there. So he's someone, like I said, still 20 years old. Probably 2 years would be the most realistic timeline for him to like stick at first base if he makes that positional change over there and being the everyday first baseman for them.
Lucas, yours Orioles.
Yeah, first guy, AJ mentioned, but Samuel Basayo, I just love him, especially his MLB The Show card. But he had great numbers again as a catcher, kind of like Moises Pastero for the Cubs, who we talked about a little bit in the NL Central show. He just has great numbers. I mean, 1,200 career at bats, hitting 286 with 50 home runs. That's just you love that for a catcher. But of course, you've had the Rutschman in front of you, so is he going to really make his debut soon? It just depends. Hopefully, Rutschman doesn't get injured, but I see that could be a possibility. Or if you move Basallo to first base, so it kind of just depends. And then second guy I have is Enrique Bradfield Jr. He's an outfielder, 2023 first round pick. No crazy offensive numbers. I mean, he hits 272, 4 home runs, 18 doubles, 5 triples, 35 ribbies. But the number that really stands out to me is 74 stolen bases. I mean, anytime you're getting over 50 stolen bases, you're just a fast guy. And I mean, he's getting over 70 stolen bases. And the thing about that is, like, he's getting on base. His strikeout to walk ratio, 72 strikeouts in 50 walks. So he had more stolen bases than strikeouts, which I think is very rare for really anybody, especially someone who is only like 22, 23 years old. So I think that's the guy to look out for. Just the fact that he is stealing 74 bases and he's hitting well. Like, he's not like 30-year-old Billy Hamilton hitting 200 who can't get on base. Like, he's getting on base. He'll make things happen. So I think that someone who has a near 375 on base percentage should really have a place with the Orioles. But again, it's the Orioles. They're a good team. They have a lot of good guys in the outfield. But I mean, losing guys like Santander and Austin Hayes, I could see like Bradfield being someone kind of like a Mullins type. Of course, Mullins, like, he's definitely a better hitter, but he's fast. So I think that Bradfield's definitely a guy to look out for in the near future.
And the last of 30 teams, AJ, the New York Yankees.
Yeah, so the guy that I would expect them to be able to uh, make their debut, essentially coming out of the pen more realistically, he has been a starter throughout his career, but it's Chase Hampton. Last year, only made 7 starts, 18 and two-thirds innings, 16 Ks, 9 walks. It doesn't clean that up, but only had a 173 or 172 average against him with a 2.41 ERA. Chase Hampton, I expect him to be one of those guys who got up to Double A, throws a good amount of pitches, throws a really good fastball slider combo, has a good curveball cutter as well. He flashes a changeup, which isn't great. He only grades out as a 40, but just kind of just has the fifth pitch there to help him out. Was a 6th round pick back in 2022. He's someone that I believe has been dealing with some injuries. I don't think there's any, from what I've seen, any major injuries that's going to hold him back, potentially for the spring training. He was a roster invite, so he's someone that I don't, is not going to break camp, but potentially midway through the year, especially for the Yankees, I think their biggest need, is just pitching. It feels like, I mean, last year I felt like it carried them at times, and then there's times like where they're bullpen just needed any help they could get. I think Hampton, a good control guy, throws a lot of pitches. It would be able to do that. And then lefty that they have in the minor leagues for the future, Henry Lane. Last year kind of blew up on him a little bit. Got to A ball last year for the first time at 20 years old. 12 and a third innings, so not a big sample size, 13 strikeouts, but had 6.57 ERA, 1-2 record, 6 appearances, 4 of them being starts, 220 batting average this past season. One thing I do like though is that this past 2 years there has been some injuries, some things that held him back. But on his career, 3.86 ERA, and 123 and two-thirds innings with 136 Ks, only a 226 batting average against him. And I think my favorite part is only 7 home runs within that time. I mean, when you got a guy pitching really young, I mean, like I said, 20 years old and made his minor league debut back in 2021. He's someone that has progressed decently well. He's 6'7", 211 pounds, so really good frame there. Throwing from the left side, I wouldn't say it's unusual, but I mean it's pretty unusual. Good fastball slider changeup combo. I think that he's someone that if I remember why I was looking into him, he's trying to develop also a cutter for his coming season, so that could also be a really good factor for him coming up.
And Lucas, the New York Yankees.
Yeah, first guy I have is Everson Pereira. He's an outfielder. He's been around seemingly like forever. I think he was signed in like 2019. So he's kind of turning into one of those minor league veterans, and maybe something like a change of scenery will be nice, but I think he still has the potential. I mean, he hit 265, 10 home runs, 27 RBIs, but only 162 at bats. I believe his season ended in like June. He might have got called up by the Yankees in October as some like postseason depth, but in terms of regular everyday activity, he was pretty much done in June. So that really hinders, how he's played. So I think the big question is going to be, I'm sure he'll maybe get some time in spring training, like a couple, maybe 50 at bats, see how he does there. In the course of the minor league season, he's played 5 years, but 1,300 career at bats with 66 home runs, 232 RBIs, and 855 OPS. So that's good for sure. Like that's numbers you like to see. He's definitely a power hitting guy, but he only has 93 MLB at bats, and he hasn't really produced. But I think that Pereira is one of those guys who, if he is hot, he's hot. Like he is hitting bombs every day. But the question is, does he have a place in the Yankees system that is so like, if you're not good, just go back to AAA. I mean, you guys have got like Jason Dominguez and things like that. So he's going to be a guy to watch. Another guy, Brock Selvage, right-handed pitcher. I believe he went to Hamilton, but I'm not totally sure. 2021 third-round pick. He's had injury risk, of course, in the future as he has already. 7-6 with a 4.25 ERA, 84 and two-thirds inning with 83 strikeouts in 16 games. Only 55 games in the career in 3 years. So the question is, again, like a lot of guys we've talked about, can he not only produce at the higher minor league levels, not striking out a ton of guys, pretty much one per inning, which is, again, not bad if he can get out, which he has somewhat with the 4.25 ERA. But can he keep maintaining the way he's been playing next year? Can he play a full season? Can he pitch a full season? Can he get guys out? And those are all going to be the questions that I think that he's going to really have to prove himself this year, especially just kind of being around for a while. Can he really make that next step and maybe enter the rotation like Luis Gil did, or can he just even eat innings in the bullpen for the Yankees?
Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode here on The Truth. Thank you guys for listening to this series. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you guys did, make sure you follow The Truth on Twitter, @TheTruthAs1, to stay up to date with the latest information regarding The Truth, including podcast dates, podcast uploads, and other important information you don't want to miss. Make sure you guys also follow The Truth on Instagram and TikTok at the.tt.truth. Are you looking to find a drink that offers peak hydration, raises your energy levels, speeds up your recovery, and keeps your mind sharp through focus and memory? Look no further than Acid Rainwater. I'm excited to partner with Blendline Sports AZ and Acid Rainwater, which focuses on peak hydration and productivity, while also maintaining ecosystem-friendly product. Use code HESSON15, that's HESSON 15 for 15% off every purchase. As always, I'm your host, the one you love the most, Niall Hesson, joined once again by Lucas Hesson and AJ Ponciano. Take care and good night.